So in this video, we are going to recreate this snow effect right over here, and we're going to be using GSAP in Elementor. Now, I first saw this effect in Mr. Beast's older version of his website, and that is where we got this inspiration from. But we did it in our own way using GSAP instead of the way that they had done it in theirs. They used a different approach, and we just felt that GSAP was the better way to go because the code is a lot smaller. And not only that, here you can see all these different snow particles. Now, all of them are going to be different transparencies, different blurs, and they don't fall in a straight line. So as they're falling, start floating left to right, more like real snow. So there's a lot going on in the code, but you don't really have to worry about that because we simplified the whole thing for you. And you can put this effect into as many containers as you want inside a single page, and it's just going to work perfectly for each container. Another thing we also added was asynchronous support, so this doesn't go on the main thread and mess up SEO because the code is quite intensive. So all of that has been taken care of. Now, if you want this exact template, there's going to be a link in the description below where it is going to take you to this page right here on the website where you can download the zip file. And to install it, it's very easy because you just open up that zip file and you're going to find a JSON file inside. Now that JSON file is the template. So here in Elementor, we go add template and we say import template, and that file, you just drop it in there. And Elementor is just going to import that whole template for you. Now, for everyone else that's going to follow along and build this out, there's going to be a link for you to the reference page, and it's going to be this page right over here. And if we scroll down, you can see there's the CSS class name, and this is the GSAP code that we are going to be using for this build. Now, building this out, very easy to do. We simplified it as much as possible in the actual build process. So here in Elementor, let's go and build this effect. So to start this off, I'm going to get a container and just put some random background. So what I'm aiming for is this outer part over here, and then we'll just put it on an inner container so it just stands out more. Now, again, you can put this in anything. You can even put it in the header if you want to. So very easy to do. Now, here I'm going to get that container, and I'm going to say it's that one. I'm going to say it's full width at 100 with a VH of 100 for the min height. Now, background, I am going to go with an image, which is this texture right over here. And then the last thing I'm going to do for this container is just make sure that everything is justified to the center. So justify center and aligned center. Now, inside this is going to be the snow effect container. So I'm going to go get a container, make sure it's full width, maybe make it 80%. Then I'm going to add a color. Now you can put gradients or normal colors, completely up to you. This is white snow, but you can change it to any other color that you want. So here we're just going to go and do the white snow one, and I can show you how to customize the code after. So for the background color here, I'm just going to go with a light blue, something in that sort of range. It doesn't have to be exact. It's just some sort of light blue. It's just for this tutorial. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to say border, and I'm just going to add a border. This doesn't really matter either. It's just for this design here. So maybe a 4 pixels, make it black, and then maybe give it a border radius, maybe 1 rem, just something like that. And then under layout, just to make sure that this doesn't affect anything else, I'm going to go to additional options and say overflows hidden. Now inside here, we can put anything that we want really. So let me go get a heading and an image. So there's the heading and then image. Now this image I'm going to be using, it's a PNG, so it has a bit of transparency. So it's the older Mr. Beast image that he had used in his old site. And the background over here is this transparent. So it's going to help with the whole snow effect. And then this heading here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say snow effect. And then under style, I'm going to put this to center, make it white so it stands out quick. Then the typography here, I'm going to go say that this is Canet. Then I am going to give this a size of maybe 120 pixels. That can work over there. Then the weight is going to be 900, make it nice and thick, and uppercase. Then style, maybe make it italic, just a bit more effect there. And then give a text stroke. So I think that this can be thick, so make it maybe a 5 pixels, and maybe make it more a browny color. So somewhere around there, that can work. It's just a bit of a random color. So the one that I used exactly was 422017. That should be good over there. Then the last thing I'm going to do here is, if I go to advanced, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a bit of a twist. So this transform here, I am going to say that I want to rotate it just a little bit. So maybe like that. That works just fine. So maybe a -4 in rotation, just to give it a bit of extra pop. Something else I'd like to do is maybe just put in the spacer in between. So I'm just going to put that there, and maybe just put it on top of the heading. Then this image, I just want to make it completely full width. So I'm going to make sure that it's going to be full, and then it's set to 100. And then what I'm going to do for this container itself is, under advanced, I'll just take out the padding, so it goes right to the corners of this container. And we are pretty much good to go with the design. Now, again, this is just the example on this template. And now what I'm going to do is add a new container at the bottom for the code. It's something I like to do, but you can go put it in this container here. It doesn't really matter where you put it. Or you can even put it as custom code in Elementor for the whole site if you'd want. But here, I'm just going to go get a new container and make sure that everything's 0, so it's not visible on the page. Then in here, I'm going to go get the HTML widget, put it in. It really is going to be this simple. Now, we can go to that reference page. Now over here, we're going to go get this CSS class name. We're going to copy it. Then in Elementor, we just make sure we are going to go to the container that we want to affect. It's going to be this blue one here. So under advanced, we go to CSS classes, paste that CSS class name, and under Z index, we are just going to set this to 1. So it's always on top of the snow effect, and you're going to see that work now. Then we just have to get the code. So now we go back to the reference page. We copy this GSAP code that we constructed into the HTML widget, and we paste it there. And that's it. So now we click publish or preview, totally up to you. And then the snow starts coming down exactly like you'd want it. Now, if you see the stuff going over this image here, very easy to fix. Is if you click the image, you go to advanced, and then under Z index, just put this to maybe like a 3 or more. So if we preview it, then you'll see that the snow falls behind that image exactly like that. So it's totally up to you. So you can just move the things a bit more forward if you don't want the snow to be in front of them. Now, if you don't think that this is enough snow, in this code here, if you can see the snow count flake, this one right here, there's 200. Now, if you want more or less, just add more or less. So say 200 is not enough. Say now I want 400. If I go preview it, you'll see that now there's going to be 400 different snow effects, and you can really go and crank this up, right? So it's totally up to you how much snow you want to put. And then if we go down a little bit more, here goes the snowflake color and transparency randomizer. So we can set whatever color we want. Right over here, it's just set to white, so that RGBA 255, 255, 255, which is white, obviously. So you can change whatever color you want there. And also the randomness. So how much transparency do you want to add? So here it's been set from 0.3 to 0.8, but you can make it a lot softer. So the top limit can be, say, 0.5. Or if you want it to be more vivid, you can set this bottom one to be a lot higher. So maybe 0.8 or whatever, you know. So it's totally up to you. Some other stuff over here, as you can see, everything's been commented. The blurriness, if you want a lot more, put it low. We only have it at about 3 pixels. So you can put it from 0 to, say, 10 pixels. Or if you want it completely blurry at all and you don't want any to be actual focused, you have that options here. So it's been set to random 0 and 3, so you can set it to, say, 0 and 20 or 0 and 2. It's totally up to you. You can just customize everything you want there. So everything's been well documented for you, so very easy to go and implement, as you saw. And it's another new effect that you don't see a lot of at all. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing as well. That stuff makes a big difference to a small channel like mine. If you have any suggestions or anything, then just put a comment down below. Let me see what I can do. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.